5 minutes after 9 o'clock. It's Friday, and there's that music. It's called Ukulele Smile, by the way, the song. Jim George is in the studio, and it's going to be a big smile right now because he's always bringing us. He always brightens the show. I always love when we speak to Jim. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Phone lines are open, by the way. If you don't know what Jim's specialty is, well, we don't either. he's kind of got an expertise in everything. We specifically, it's always about technology or antennas. We have an antenna story or a question for you today. But if you have a question about your gadget, your gizmo, your technology, this is a good time and place to call. The number is 622-9622. Hey, Jim.
So I sent you an email this morning. You probably hadn't even time to open it up.
I did. It's about the secret weapons of Hollywood.
Right, but it's the reason why we did it is this is Women and Technology Month.
Ah, okay.
And NARDA, the National Association for Radio and Television Engineers, is featuring a different woman each day of the month. And they featured her this morning. I just happened to see it.
Her is Hedy Lamarr.
Yep.
That's who you're referring to. Yep.
Yep, and how she came about talking to the Nazis and a few other people about, what they were trying to do. And she said there has to be a way around that.
I wish I could remember the name of the book, but we had an author who wrote a book about this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the name of the book?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
So that
fascinating.
That was the first time I heard this, and it was really detailed about what she had done and how it was kind of
the spread spectrum.
Yeah. So
anyway, I sent that to you just so you get a. It's women and technology.
See, I don't even know actresses and stuff like that. So when I look at her, I go, wow, she's a pretty lady. Yeah. And meanwhile, you and Robin probably have known that face forever, right?
Well, she's, the
face of Hedy Lamarr?
A 50s, 60s, 70s,
actress. Yeah,
so
but the movies
forever.
Are still out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
I can find it on my local. That antenna that you guys set up for Doug had one of the channels it had was some kind of a movie channel.
Movies.
Yeah, it was good.
We need to get you one of them. I'll tell Ken that we need to get one for WOCA so you can report on it and say, you realize you can turn this thing north and get this and get that.
You don't need to give it to me. I hardly watch TV, to be honest with you. But for the listener's sake, if you want to cut your cable, Jim is in business to sell cable, but at the same time, he doesn't mind telling you that if it's too expensive for you, get one of those antennas. You guys set it up for Doug, and it's an amazing thing.
Right. And I mentioned Channel Master last week, and they sent me an email right after that said, if you have an antenna and it goes to your TV, but you'd like to be able to record all that digital, because the VCRs, the old ones, VHSs,
right.
They don't have tuners that do all that. Now, you can buy one, but they're very expensive. For $89 on their website, they have the antenna with the rotor that turns it and the set-top box that decodes it and records it for $98.
That's good stuff.
That's
great.
great.
Great price.
That's a really good
That's great.
Yeah.
You can turn the antenna direction you want it. You can record the movies you want or the channels you want. Watch it later.
That is really good. And
it's a good bite.
For everybody, if money is an issue and you spend, how much is cable now? What do you think? How much?
It's a lot. I talked to a guy yesterday from Spectrum. He was calling me to basically pick my brain about something we're doing, and I tried to be a little elusive, but I think I talked too much. But the bottom line was he was telling me that they have a skinny package that has about 90 channels, and it's $65 for TV.
That's a lot. That's a lot for me. And plus on that $65, I'll bet you then it's the taxes and everything added on that.
Yeah,
it's too much for me.
But it's a starter. It's a starter pack. I read an article today about even the streaming people like myself. They're saying the streaming media is increasing the price per month, like Hulu, YouTube, all the rest of them, and they're blaming it on the cost of programming going up. So like AT&T cut out 5 channels to try and keep the price the same, and then they eventually had to raise it because people were complaining, we got your box that had these channels, now it doesn't have these channels. So AT&T, and it is. It's the programmers. They keep going up and up and up in price.
And part of the problem is, too, you pay for one or two, maybe. In Robin's case, she's got Netflix and what's it?
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah.
And
that's
Prime,
affordable.
whatever it's called.
Right.
And then you can't afford all of them. You have to pick and choose which ones you want, I guess.
Now, T-Mobile announced in only 8 cities only, and they're big like New York, Chicago, and such, that they're going to start streaming channels. and they start at $145 a month for their box, but it'd be streamed. Well, you got to have internet, and then you have to have the box, which is the programming for $145.
Yeah.
And then you have to pay the rental on the box. You know, that's like $10 a month. So,
Right.
you know, you can just about everybody who has any kind of decent TV package is paying around $200. And you think about that is a lot.
Oh my
That's
God.
a lot of money. I can't afford that.
Bill's not even $200.
If I could brag, I mean, radio is free.
Yep.
You put your radio on. I love the technology of radio because it costs you nothing. You turn it on. That's why Robert and I take so much time to make sure we have as much content as possible.
You carry it with you. It goes everywhere.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love radios.
And you know, you can get an app to stream WOCA even if you were in India.
yeah, I know.
Listen to WOCA.
Well, you know, Joe's actually working with somebody to make a WOCA app. So, but I know right now you can do it on like YouTube or something. But
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the phone. You do have a phone call?
Okay.
You're going to need your ears, sir.
Got that.
Good morning. You're on the air with Jim George.
Good morning, Mr. George, Larry, Robin. You're talking about everything going up. I just bought a quart of non-detergent oil. Well, actually 2 quarts for my lawnmower, which is on its last legs, but I still maintain it. And I couldn't believe just the cost of you know, as far as I'm concerned, a cheap oil. It's non-detergent. It doesn't have all the additives in there that, you know, that newer engines, I guess, require.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, my instructions say do not use the detergent oil on my lawnmower. So, but it's for like $5 a quart.
Yes.
You know, well, you know, it's getting to be, like you said, Robin, very, very expensive for anything. Every time you turn around, it's prices are going up, no matter what it is, whether it's food or you know, things that you need for your house, or you know, just anything. So I don't know. It may be a great economy for some people, but you know, I can't keep up with the cost of living here either, but it's where you're going to go.
Our problem is we remember what it used to cost. That's our problem. You know, 19-year-old kid just buying a car today, you know, $5, $7, $9 for a quart of oil, big deal. You know, he never knew it cost 27 cents a quart.
Right.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I can go back to when I first got out of the Navy. We got married and everything else. We had a lot of help from our family and everything, and but anyway, our rent was like $50 a month. The phone bill was $2 and change a month, and like that for the various bills. You could go to Bohack or A&P and buy a week's worth of groceries, including your steak for you know, Friday night or Thursday night dinner, and the whole bill came to $15, and you stuffed the shopping cart, you know, a little 2-wheel job that folded up, and you you stick the bags into.
Yep.
But you know, you could buy a week's worth of groceries literally for $15.
Yep.
But you didn't make that much back then either, so.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, so.
But it seemed a lot simpler and a lot easier. I had a car. I had everything else that I have today, except today you go to a store and you can drop $50 without even blinking.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's starting to get hard to go from month to month.
Yeah. Well, you can't live in the past. You can't keep reminiscing. Got to move forward.
Oh, no, you can't. I'm a living testament to modern medicine, but that's besides the point. The costs, I think, are, you know, way above and beyond,
Yes.
you know, what's going on today. But anyway, I just had to mention that when you, Robin, were talking about affording this and affording that.
Yes.
The antennas that you know that you can put up. How do these things survive storms? They had a what was it, last month? We had a pretty good storm rip through here.
Yeah, well, they're pretty supportive. So basically, if you had a telescopic mast, you would bury about 1 foot to 2 foot in the sand, max, maybe 1 foot in the sand. Then you would put a support right at the ridge of your house, and the rest of it would stick above your house. A lot of people put guide wires on them, but you want to keep the guide wire slack, not stiff. If you want the antenna to sway and move, you just don't want it to fall down. So you put them on, and that will keep it in almost any type of wind, except of course hurricane, gale.
Well, anyway, it's thank you for the programming, and thank you, Mr. George, for being on the air. And I learned a lot from you guys, and have a great Easter. If I don't talk to you.
Thank you, Seneca. Nice to hear that. Yeah, the antenna is small too, by the way.
Very small.
So it doesn't have the ability to catch the wind as the big antennas used to have.
Right. And light. I mean, it's not only small in size, but it's lightweight. So that you can raise the telescopic mast and lower it.
And it's also cheap. So if it does happen to fall down and it's not reusable, it's $85 maybe. Is that right? What it costs?
I think it was $70, and then the gentleman Ken, he will install it for you. But there again, you got to buy a mast.
Right.
And what he does is he just goes to the Lowe's and gets 2 pieces of fence conduit, which are 20 foot long each. One end is smaller than the other, so they go inside each other. And he puts the first one up, and then the second, the 2 pieces, and sets it up, and you're done.
So real quick, we had a guest the other day. I think he was age shaming me. Because this is what he said. He said, Google and Amazon, they're all taking over. He said, I can't read a book on my Kindle without getting an ad, without getting this, that. I said, why don't you read a book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, and then he says, well, everybody over 18 thinks all the inventions that happened since they were 18 are bad for us. And that was him age shaming me.
Yeah.
But still, it doesn't change what I just said.
Right.
The book is no pop-up ads.
Nope. I like paper everything.
If you're reading a book.
People send me emails and I print them.
Right.
Because I'm not going to stare at that screen for hours and read these long emails.
Oh, my gosh.
If it's more than 2 paragraphs long, I print, and then at the end of the day, I grab them. And when I go home and I'm eating dinner, I come through them and I say, okay, I'll go back and delete those tomorrow or whatever.
There you go. That's a good way to do it. Yeah. All right, we have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi, Hugh.
Good morning.
I was going to just say, I can remember when I was a teenager back in the 50s when my father bought his first home in the Milwaukee area. It was a nice all-brick 3-bedroom ranch for $19,000. And when I go up there visiting now, I go by that home, and I know right now that house is well over $300,000, if not more. So it's just amazing in the amount of time how prices really have gone crazy.
Yes.
Yep. Say, the reason I called now, if I was on a space station and I'm flying overhead, can I pick up WOCA radio?
Only when we're on.
Okay.
Now, I would imagine that I would receive if I could receive it, it would only be for a short time until I get too far away again, right?
Yeah, so the beams radiate, and they radiate almost, just imagine a rake. All the tongs come back to a central spot on the rake, right? But as they go out, they get further and further and further apart. So have you ever been at a stoplight listening to a radio station and you do 1 inch further ahead and the radio station drops out? And then you drive like 3 or 4 feet further ahead and it comes back on? Mm-hmm. You're in the EMF, you're in that pattern of transmission. So it goes out 2 ways. It goes out like a ripple in the water.
Yeah.
Strength-wise, stronger, weaker, and it goes out in radiation like a rake.
Oh. Would you be able to pick up any radio stations on the moon?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
See, nothing really stops. What keeps you from listening to it, let's say WABC New York, is how much time it takes to get from New York to here.
Oh. So with the guys, the astronauts that are going to Mars will be able to have WOCA on their rocket ship on the way there, right?
Only when we're on it. It's the same thing.
Yeah. We're going to tether that with a long cable.
Yeah, because there's licenses for Glenn Beck. So.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
So when the AM frequency was on the radios and everything, how was the FM frequency discovered?
Well, the same way. It was a situation of Marconi, and a few others decided that there has to be a better way, a different frequency that could penetrate walls, penetrate concrete, go through windows, go through water, go through a lot of other things. And by experimenting with frequencies, they found that if they raised the frequencies, higher, and also they did it because of audio. You used to have left channel audio, right channel audio. Then you had stereo, which means you could have the same different frequencies on the same channel. And so it's just the inventors just kept experimenting. But when FM was invented and brought out, the AM radio people were up in an uproar. But, FM is going to kill AM. Well, as you see, it didn't happen. They coexisted. And then when TV started to be invented, there was 4 years where the FCC and Congress stopped TV from being manufactured. Several reasons. One, the war. My. And the second reason is because the AM, FM people said, this is going to kill us. You're going to have not only the audio, but you're going to have the video. And drive-in theaters, when the theater, the actual sit-down theaters were coming along, they even tried to stop it. So everybody tries to stop technology. I think that what's come around now is what we talked about last week, which was 5G and 6G. There is real doubt as to whether it will hurt you as far as the frequency range. That's why they tell you don't hold your cell phone next to your ear.
How are you going to hear it?
So I put on the speaker.
Oh, okay.
And I move it far from me.
So I am not anywhere near your understanding of wavelengths, but I did take a test to get a license to do this job back when you needed one. And in studying for that test, so the AM signal, this is not an answer to Hugh's question. It's just the way I would have answered it. You obviously answered it better. But I would have said the AM signal bounces up and down. So it goes around the world. That's why you can hear beyond the horizon. You can hear New York and Chicago on an AM frequency because it bounces off the atmosphere and keeps going. The FM signal reaches the horizon and then just keeps going straight out into outer space. It's a straight line kind of a thing. And the frequencies that are used, for example, to communicate to the lunar, the Martian rover, or the lunar one for that matter, or that one that went out to Pluto, all those spacecraft have communication with NASA through radio waves. It's all the same thing.
Right.
And every once in a while we slip a commercial in just so they can pay for the thing.
Yeah. So, the name says it all. Amplitude modulation, AM, as you speak. That at audio, that it's an amplitude, high and low and high. So if you saw it on your screen, you'd see that. FM is frequency modulation. So just imagine amplitude is up and down, like you said, like a snake undulating, and frequency is the snake on its belly going left and right. So one is going up and down, and one is going left and right.
Which is why an FM antenna needs to be tall in order to reach far, and an AM antenna does not need to be tall in order to reach far.
Right.
That's the two things there. All right, good morning. You're on the air with Jim.
This is Sonny again. I can remember as a kid taking a wire and going to, from the radio I had a ground wire, or a place to attach it, and going to the radiator with the ground wire, and then sticking another wire up in the air, and I was able to, at night, I was able to pick up the BBC broadcast and a lot of the CBC and things like that was at that time, I found interesting. And it was amazing. You'd hear the news on, say, ABC or WOR radio, and then you get the news on the BBC, and you'd be amazed, even back then, the differences of, opinion and how they broadcast it. When you hear it on your local station, it was a positive event. Then you hear on the BBC or the CBC, and they didn't think it was such a great event that took place, and it was interesting times.
Yes,
to get to have a regular little radio that could pick up broadcasts, say from England or Europe or wherever. Anyway, again, have a great weekend, everybody.
So, Jim, thank you, Sonny. So, you've picked up the book. We spoke to the author of the book called Magic is Dead. And it's interesting, I can tell, because you picked it up. Are you going to read it? So I asked him the question. I said, can magic be done audibly? Okay, can we do magic tricks on the radio? And he said, yes. I said, can you teach me one? He said, well, off the air, because I don't want to give away the secrets.
Right.
Okay. So we said, okay, well, hang on to the line after we're off the air. So then we talked to him, right? He taught me how to levitate Robin. On the air. I mean, live.
Right.
So just check this out, Jim. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to levitate Robin just with my mind. And some radio wavelengths that come through the palms of my hand. Ready? Vouch for everybody that I have. I'm about 4 feet away from Robin, with my palms facing her. Right. Now watch.
Oh, okay.
Look at that!
Here I go.
Look at that!
You can put a hula hoop around me. I'm not touching the chair.
All right, now I must. Okay, back down. Okay, now I must tell you, it's a trick. I didn't really do that with my mind. It was a trick, but she did levitate. Correct?
That was some trick.
There you go. So I learned a trick from that guy who wrote that book. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim.
Larry, that was probably one of the most awesome tricks I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh! I know. I'm so glad I learned it.
You are astounding. Robin. She sounded frightened.
Correct. Well, she knows the trick. That's she wasn't really frightened because she knows
that's just one reason you guys are so awesome. It's just, this kind of thing, this is what the world needs more of.
I do have a couple of others. I have to do them at a different time. But
I'm going to listen for them. I'm going to tell you. Hey, Larry?
Yeah.
Can you do a disappearing act?
I can. Watch this. See? He's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Totally
You're
gone.
so good.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go again, getting back down there.
Hey, we had an article. This is serious. We had what was the thing, a 4-inch antenna? What was that about, that 4-inch? That can broadcast underwater? What is that?
Well, the Navy and other people can answer this better than I. They've always had long-range communication underwater. A submarine only has to come to a certain surface and raise their antenna for certain things. But for other things, ship to ship or ship to shore, within they can transmit it underwater. It's just real low frequency.
So what is
similar to Morse code?
So what's the new thing that they're talking about?
They're just talking about for scuba divers and for the rest of the people how they can. But see, this is what's driving the whales and the dolphins crazy.
Oh,
I bet you're right.
This is what's beaching them is the side sonar and a few other things. They communicate by sound, whether it's clicking sounds or making audible sounds with that we can hear ourselves. But when that wavelength for them gets disturbed, they get disturbed, and they have no idea where to go, or they want to get out of the water as quick as possible.
Oh my gosh!
So we have to be careful just how far we take technology. That's what I was saying about the 6G, that 95 gigahertz. That's going to be really, a microwave is a frequency. Right?
Yeah, right.
Microwave oven.
Right.
You're just passing a frequency through.
I know. And did you ever hear that a microwave can cause cataracts?
I have not, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, don't put your head in the microwave.
Oh, you don't want to do that. No. It's hard to close the door, too.
Can't push those buttons. It won't work.
Yeah.
It's hard to close the door.
Well, that's pretty amazing. And the more technology that happens, the more it should be embraced. But we should still be cautioned about it, just like those driverless cars. We shouldn't depend 100% on that.
Exactly. So like we said, when, if in fact cell phones are bad for you, if you hold them close to your ears, then don't hold them close to your ears.
All right, don't do it.
It doesn't say throw the cell phone away.
Don't take too many calls.
It's just, it used to be on the back of every cell phone, it said intrinsically safe. If you have an old cell phone, look at it. It doesn't say that anymore.
Really?
It's not impartial and totally safe. Now there's warning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jim, always fun. It's always a bright moment of our week. Thank you for doing this. Have a good weekend.
Thank you for having me. You too.
What's your plan for the weekend? Anything good?
Well, yes. So we have a meeting at Ocala Palms. So everybody hearing this that's from Ocala Palms knows that we have arranged a subscriber meeting at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Sort of a little appreciation, just cookies and things like that. But we're getting ready to launch our IPTV, and we want people to know it and see it.
Nice.
That's tomorrow.
That is cool.
Very good. It's exciting stuff.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. 3 Marion County teachers are on unpaid leave after allegations that they failed to keep one of their special needs students safe. 3 naked women were seen at a rest stop on I-75 near Wesley Chapel and led Highway Patrol troopers on a high-speed chase. Governor Ron DeSantis announced that he would make voting ballots in Florida bilingual. Volusia County deputies fatally shot a carjacking suspect who shot and grazed the head of a sheriff's sergeant near DeLand. A 90-year-old Jacksonville woman who took home $278 million from a winning Powerball ticket 6 years ago is suing her son and his financial advisors, claiming the money was put into low-return investments. Winter Park police hope to use the tracking capacity of a Disney World Magic Band to catch a burglar. A photo was released by the agency showing the man firing a toy weapon at a Buzz Lightyear ride in Disney World, but hours later the agency tweeted that the man in the image was not involved in any burglary and apologized. And that is your news brief from The Source.
Plenty of sunshine on this Friday and warm, but there may be a shower in spots along the coast during the morning hours. The high 84 at the coast, 90 inland. Partly cloudy Friday night, low 65 inland, low 70s along the coast. Times of clouds Saturday, there can be a morning shower along the coast. A high about 84 at the coast, 90 inland. And on Sunday, partly sunny, breezy, and quite warm. Highs in the mid-80s at the coast, 91 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hey, I didn't know it rained last night.
Oh, it didn't. Why do you say that?
Because little Johnny's in the backyard playing in that big mud puddle.
Did you leave the hose on?
No, the neighbor borrowed it yesterday.
Wait, is that the side where the septic...
Johnny, get out of there!
Having septic problems? At Mike Scott Plumbing, we can make those septic worries disappear. We can pump your